And in South Carolina today, Governor Henry McMaster announced that he supports parents' choice for schools. Today, the governor released his guidance saying that students should have the option to be in school 5 days a week. And if they don't want to, they can have a fully remote option or a mixture. But he wants parents to decide which one they choose. He also suggested starting the school year after Labor Day, September the 8th. All districts have until this Friday to submit their plans, but the governor requires that, again, one of those options must be in person all week.
Schools must have in-class, face-to-face teaching so these children do not fall behind. Ladies and gentlemen, if they fall behind, just in this one period, they may never catch up. And we may have a generation lost to their educational opportunities.
Well, now we bring in our Glenn Counts, who is live in Rock Hill tonight. Glenn, today's announcement caused some backlash, including from a teachers group you spoke to.
Well, Erica, that announcement landed like a thud in some quarters. For example, here in Rock Hill, officials spent weeks and weeks planning on how to reopen. Now they're questioning if they're going to have to throw those plans out the window. And of course, the biggest question of all, is it safe for students to return? Everybody agrees it's a priority to try and get our kids back in school.
Schools must have in-class, face-to-face teaching so these children do not fall behind. Ladies and gentlemen, if they fall behind, just in this one period, they may never catch up.
But when Governor McMaster announced his plans for a return to in-person learning, it was met with confusion and skepticism.
We now have to figure out what's next. So do we change? Do we not change? How do we accommodate with the new information?
Part of the problem is that many districts had already come up with their own plans to reopen. The governor asked them to push the start date past Labor Day and asked for 5 days a week of in-person learning. In Lancaster, the news was met with frustration, which Superintendent Jonathan Phipps shared with his parents.
The governor actually asked for us also to have everyday instruction 5 days a week. There is no way we can social distance if we have every student at school 5 days a week. So we're going to ask for a waiver on that.
What I want to hear is what steps will our state leadership take over the course of the next 4 to 5 to 6 weeks.
Patrick Kelly is with the Palmetto Teachers Association.
To slow the rate of spread of coronavirus in this state. Until we can do that, it is simply not safe.
The association disagrees with the governor, as does the state superintendent, who did not show up at his press conference this morning. In our area, Chester has been a COVID hotspot with its hospital listed at 100% capacity. There is also the death of a child from the virus weighing on the minds of parents.
I was all for it in person because they need to get out and be active with other children. But since we actually had our first death in Chester County with a 5-year-old, and knowing my children and the children that I drove the bus with, they're not going to stay away from each other. So I suggest virtual for mine.
The governor has said that parents will have a choice of in-person or virtual.
As long as everybody has a choice, what's the big deal?
Simply saying that, well, it was your choice to put yourself into that position is a false logic in this case. Because for many of our parents, it won't necessarily be a choice to return to in-person instruction. It'll be the only thing that they can feasibly pull off.
Well, Glenn, so the governor has said that he will not accept any plans that don't have a component where a child can have in-person instruction at school 5 days a week. And it sounds like that's regardless of how rapidly the virus is spreading in any area in South Carolina.
Well, Erica, you are absolutely right about that. As of now, it is regardless of how fast the virus is spreading. And that's the reason that so many people are so upset about this. But of course, the governor would say, parents, you got choice. If you're comfortable, you can send your kids to school. If you're not, you can keep them home and they can learn virtually.
All right, Glenn, thank you.